U.S. and Filipino troops, allies working side by side to get aid to people injured and stranded by a typhoon. Except there are no injuries. The typhoon isn't real. About 2,000 Filipino soldiers are being trained by the U.S. in how to deal with a large-scale humanitarian crisis. It's part of a joint military exercise held every year called the Balikatan. But this one is different. It doesn't include training on sea patrols, which are meant to help the Philippines protect its shores, nor are there exercises using live ammunition. And the scale of this year's Balikatan is reportedly smaller.
It turned out that this Balikatan is a little smaller. It's maybe about 2/3 the size in terms of, if you just look at number of people compared to last year. But the sizes of Balikatans change. I mean, next year it may be bigger, it may be the same, maybe smaller.
Balikatan is a Tagalog word. It means shoulder to shoulder. It might apply to these soldiers, but not to the governments of the U.S. and the Philippines. Relations have been strained after U.S. criticism of the so-called war on drugs launched by President Rodrigo Duterte. President Duterte says he may scrap a defense agreement which would allow the U.S. to expand its military presence in the Philippines. But both countries have signed a defense treaty to defend each other's territory. So this year's Balikatan operation is going ahead.
What we do as a military is always dictated by guidance from our political leaders, and we comply with that. And I believe the U.S. can also speak the same way.
Duterte's pivot towards China and Russia has also frustrated the U.S., and it appears to have angered Filipinos. A recent poll suggests many regard China with deep suspicion, mainly because China is locked in a bitter dispute with the Philippines over rights to the Spratlys Islands, which are located to the west of the Philippines and are reported to be rich in minerals. Islands which the Philippine military wants to be able to protect with sea patrols. Security experts say this year's military exercises is a missed opportunity. The Philippines' naval capabilities have been left behind for decades, and humanitarian activities with allies simply cannot compensate for the combat exercises that the Philippine military needs, most especially during these troubled times in the South China Sea. Jamela, Alindogan, Al Jazeera, Manila.